Welcome, everybody, to the Whispers Racing podcast. As always, I'm joined by Maddie. How are you, Maddie?
Going very well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. It's post Magic Millions. I don't even know what to call this weekend of racing, but it's definitely off peak racing.
Mate, it definitely is. We can just put Storm Boy on replay and watch him again.
Yep, we will talk about in the questions and talking points. Just heard some interesting things, and people have been talking, so we'll have a little discussion about old Storm Boy. But this episode,
Very
we're
good.
going to preview Flemington Race 2, Rosehill Race 8, bets around the grounds, multi, pineapple of the week. Maddie, you're going to have to hand that over.
Yes, yeah. Infancy, Chris Lee stable. I'll call it what I call it to the community. It was plain.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. You have those days. That's racing. They're not robots. Um, it's just very frustrating when your money's on them and it happens. It's
Yes.
just mind blowing and you don't know what to do. You're just like, oh, fuck, what's this?
Oh, you go back and you go, okay, what did I miss? And no, I don't think I missed too much, but
No.
it was a plain run. So look, I know I mentioned to you I did think about this before I backed it, but the Chris Lee stable hasn't been travelling exceptionally well, especially when it comes to city runners. But yeah, look, I mean, I thought this horse had a lot more in the tank than what it showed. So look, I think it'd be interesting to see what the stable will do with the horse moving forward. One that we can definitely track, but it might need to gain our trust back before we go to the well again.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, if you're a first time watcher, I say it each week, but we get different viewers each and every week. So please, if you're a first time listener, watcher, I hope you enjoy the show. But more importantly, please subscribe to our channel. You can get these as they drop on any podcast platform or YouTube, Whispers Racing Podcast. Um, all we ask, because we are free in everything we do it for the love of it. And all we ask in return is please rate our podcast so we can grow this each and every week. If you have done it, we say massive thank you because we couldn't do this without you and your support, and we really appreciate it. We have no hidden paywalls. We all do it at our own costs. So please, by supporting us, that's all we ask for. Um, if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group that we do run, it's all free. Come and join for a week. If you don't like it, you can go. There's no offense taken. It is for some. It is for some. It isn't for some. We get it, but yeah, it's just a little community we run. We got a real tight, good group of guys that love to punt and punt to win. So if you want to come on, DM one of us, we'll put you straight through. But more importantly, subscribe to YouTube or any podcast platform and like and subscribe and rate, please. Little shout out to Turkey Teeth on TikTok. He had really good interactions with him on TikTok. He first time watcher last week. He's a lover of the punt and goes really well about it, but he just uses us as a bit of a tool of just checking if he's got the right on the races that we preview and yeah, uses our content quite well. So yeah, a big shout out to him because yeah, had some really good interactions with him and just talking about the punt, which we all love. So yeah, if you want to interact, feel free to DM one of us or DM me. I'll definitely interact. I don't know if Maddie checks his DMs. But yeah,
Oh, mate, you can try. One day I
yeah,
might.
yeah. After about 12 cans after Juicy.
Yeah, very true. What's up?
Um, questions. Oh, talking points. More importantly, Maddie, you're going to have to work off the cuff here. I forgot to mention these in our pre-production. Maybe we need a producer so we can run through each episode for us. So I'm not a good producer, that's for sure. But Mr. Brightside, having 4 runs this campaign, they've notified the Futurity, the All-Star Mile, and the Australian Cup if it all goes to plan. Maddie, I'm going to ask you off the cuff. What race would you be keen to back Mr. Brightside in if you're having a futures play?
Oh, so what was it?
The
The
Futurity,
All Star,
the All
the
Star
Shuri.
Mile at Caulfield.
Okay. give me the first three, not the last one.
Yep. Okay.
I'll
I
take
like it.
I'll take the All Futurity, and in another All Star Mile. But I think probably the first two, the All and the Futurity, it will probably win one of those two.
Yeah, interesting. I'm probably tighten up and I'll go futurity. Second up, be very close to fitness, but yeah, that's just a stab in the dark. I haven't seen any prices, but I just thought I'd put it out there. So if you like Mr. Brightside, there's 4 races that you are keen to bet into, and if you like one of those 4, have a futures play because he probably doesn't start the prices that he is right now. Matty, something interesting I found this week. Caulfield had jump outs on their new inner track. Now, this is just a observation for me. I must admit, it looked very nice, the track. It caught my eye.
Oh, are you talking about the same Caulfield?
Hang on, I'm starting with the positive,
Okay,
and
I'll let you go.
I'm gonna end with a whack. Yeah, it looked beautiful, nice green lush grass. They had some jump outs to test it out, but something caught my eye, and I'm a little concerned. I know it's early; it's only one set of jump outs. There was multiple jump outs, but I know it's only one day. But it backed it up in an interview I heard with Sam Friedman. If you weren't on that rail, if you're on the rail, you got a real good kick off that bend. So keep it in your notes when they eventually get this track up and running. It could be a bad leader bias, worse than the Valley. I'm calling it now. If they don't get it right, this could be utterly embarrassing for racing. Surely the MRC have to be worried what they saw. This, I know it's only one day, but what I saw, it was utterly embarrassing what I saw. So check them out. It'll be on racing.com, these jump outs. But if you weren't on that rail, geez, you got a lovely kick. You just, yeah, I'm worried what I saw. If you think the Valley's bad, I'm calling it now. This is 3 times worse. But again, as always, I'm always wrong with my little predictions and whacks, but you can only report on what you saw, and that's what I saw.
You call it how you see it.
Yep. So if you do see it, let me know what your thoughts are. I could be completely wrong, but just only saying it how it is. You won't get that many podcasts, guys, or they'll be hidden behind paywalls so they don't get found out. Storm Boy, Matty. So I think this is a real divided convo, but I don't know if it will be with us. Storm Boy, there was some people saying in our community, freak, which I'm not far off saying. What a win it was in the millions. This horse could be anything. That's how I'm calling it. Now, what it did to jump out of the barriers slow, hunt up, and then still find a kick and just race away from its opposition is really scary. I know it hasn't beaten much. And I said that last week when I made it a bet. It ain't versing much. The data wasn't backing up its opposition, and this horse was backing up its data. But you got to still do it, and it still did. And this could be anything. Now, my question is, Matty, the Blue Diamond, it's probably a moral, but it's probably doubtful to go because they just don't do that. The millions into the Diamond. I think it's a better play because it's only 5 weeks away. They'd probably go to the Slipper. But the record from the Magic Millions to the Slipper is poor. Look at Skirt the Law. Won it last year. Went to, I think, the Todman or the Rosebud, one of those two, and flopped it. So is this the horse that can break the hoodoo? I think it can, but it's not ideal. Your thoughts, Matty?
Look, I got asked for my opinion on the horse before the race within the community. And look, I generally don't like backing horse 2-year-olds in those type of races. I like backing 2-year-olds when they're first, second up, when they're running against the softer fields. I had Storm Boy on top. I included in some multis. I thought it was the best horse in the race. It was just whether it was going to get the best ride of the race, and it certainly did get that. Now, every 2-year-old that I see, there are a lot that perform exceptionally well as 2-year-olds and then don't show anything as a 3-year-old. I think Storm Boy has definitely got the potential to be showing something as a 3-year-old, and be very disappointed if it doesn't. So I'll reserve my opinion until I do see it as a 3-year-old. I think it'll probably, look, it'd be exceptionally disappointing if it doesn't go on from what we've seen across its first few starts.
Yeah, I like that. You thought there, Matty, because I can't wait to see it as a 3-year-old. If I was a owner that money wasn't a worry and all that sort of stuff, I'd love to see it go straight out now, or go to the diamond and then straight out, go to a 3-year-old season, because I reckon this horse could win a Guineas, and I reckon this horse could even win a Cox Plate. I know that is fucking outrageous what I'm saying off 3 starts, but through the line, this horse was so strong, and I think 1,600 is no worries for this horse. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this horse can bring.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think there were a few decent 2-year-olds going around this preparation, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the Blue Diamond does play through. And yeah, look, it's got the ability, so be very disappointing if it doesn't come back as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, 100%. But with the right camp, and that's what's exciting as well. Gay Waterhouse, she knows what to do. Adrian Bott, he knows what to do. So yeah, interesting times for racing. Hopefully they keep it together, because it'll be good, good narrative for the non-followers out there. That Storm Boy could go undefeated. Never know. But it's still a cult, so I'm sure one of the big breeding barns is already in talks with it. It wouldn't surprise me. So interesting times. Futures tickets. We're going to make a return to futures tickets. Now, Matty needs an extra 7 days, because I was silly enough to only spring this on him 20 minutes ago. So he's going to have 7 days to pick a race. I did some pre-thinking all week and got to tell Matty what I thought. So I'm going to preview the Blue Diamond. It's only 5 weeks away, but the big lead-off races kick off next Friday. So we're not going to bet tonight. Okay, so just relax. I know the last time we played futures tickets, we started piling in on week 1. But I think we've just got to be careful. There's a lot of horses out there that's trialing and going unnoticed. So we're just going to go through Storm Boy. Geez, he looks immoral if he goes there, but I feel that won't happen. They'll go to the slipper. But if there's any indications that he's going to the diamond, $3.50 looks utterly stupid, and we will be taking that. And we probably max bet it. But I don't think they go. Bold Bastille, we remember this horse, Cox Plate Day. This horse won really well. So I'm interested in how this horse comes back. Had 1 start, 1 win, jumped on the bunny and absolutely pissed in on Cox Plate Day. So that was with the Hayes Yard and John O'Neill Aussie Kerr colours. So keep an eye on it. Bodyguard, absolutely pissed in on the 7th of October down the straight. Trained by the Snowdens. It's had 1 jump out since up at Canterbury. So we just have to tread carefully with this horse, if they'll go Blue Diamond or wait for the slipper. I think we'll know more on Friday next week, when the Blue Diamond previews start at Caulfield on Friday on Australia Day. The other one I want to talk about, Stay Focused, only won recently at Geelong in the Geelong Diamond and has automatic entry into the Blue Diamond. So that's one that's guaranteed to go if it all keeps going. And that won very nicely too. So keep an eye on that. It's in the market. Here's one horse I've found off the trials and isn't in the markets yet for the Blue Diamond. But I thought this horse trialed very, very nicely at Caulfield on the inner track. It's called To Be or Not to Be. It's one word. There's no markets for it for the Blue Diamond, by Robbie Griffiths. My man. Gave him a nice rap last week. Yeah, just loved how this horse jumped on the bunny. He was strong through the line. I think we get big odds in the Blue Diamond future markets. It might be a play next week. I think it goes to the preview. And Robbie Griffiths does have the knack of finding a 2-year-old to run well in the diamond. So there's one for you, to be or not to be. So it's a hold at the moment. As I said, there's a few have caught my eye so far. There's no bets so far. Want to see the jump outs and trials, more of these horses hard in the market. We will get our sniper gear out and we will take some early prices probably next week. But we just want to see who's accepted for next Friday and try and see if we can predict the winner and move on. But Maddie, any thoughts on the run with the Blue Diamond? I know you love your 2-year-olds.
Well, yeah, no. Look, a few. Look, Spywire is one that I'll keep an eye on. Well, I think it's a little bit too short at 15s. Blue Stratum, it'll be running in the preview, so we're keeping an eye on it. It's kind of around that $26-30 mark at the moment. And the trainer that I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on is Sam Friedman.
Yep.
Huge ability when it comes to 2-year-olds. And you'll notice this time that they step out, that they have a bunch of Godolphin 2-year-olds.
Yep.
The one that I'll be keeping a close eye on is one called Tonkin. Now, it's quite hard when they've only had a couple of jump outs. You need to see them under race conditions before you can have a firm opinion on any of these. But Sam Freeman will be the trainer that I follow into the Blue Diamond.
Yeah, 100%, mate. He has the knack of finding them. The one you mentioned, what one? Blue Stratum, trialled nicely on the inner track. I did see that one. And threw the race away at start one. So yeah, $26 is nice. And going off the jump out, definitely Tompkin, I agree. Saw that jump out. That was against a horse called Coleman that we were with on start one for the community and won. I would have loved to have seen it trial just a little bit better for Coleman. So he's definitely a hold at the moment. You got Shangri-La Express, who's had 2 starts in Sydney for 2 wins at $9, but it's 6s out to 9s already, so it might not be going. So yeah, there's some good horses. I think this 2-year-old crop is going to be good this year. If it's not the Diamond, it's going to be the Slipper, that's for sure. But yeah.
And look, like always, they've all got ability. It's whether they can actually put it together under race conditions.
Yep. And we get a better guide Friday with the preview when they, especially the first starters and all that, they will need to run to get a spot. So yeah, good times, 2-year-olds and Blue Diamond and future tickets. So stay close to the dial, guys, because it's going to be a good one, I reckon. Track stats, rail out 9 meters for Flemington. Every horse gets their chance. Straight race, we'll be looking for horses up on speed, down the middle of the track. Circle races, every horse gets their chance. It'll be just tempo related. That's why I love betting at Flemington, because every horse gets their chance and it's very rare to be biased. So yeah, race 2, we're going to start off, or I'll start off. Benchmark 78, 25, 20 meters, the stayers. The speed map here, I've just got to change that. It's going to be a little bit of action here early with these horses, I think. There's going to be horses looking for spots up on speed. I have Gallinus leading from Mr. French, Winds of March, and Mr. Blackwood behind the leaders. Irish Butterfly might be 3 wide, no cover. Wertheimer, he might be 3 back the rail. One Last Kiss, getting the gun run, I reckon, just 3 pairs back. Tempo will be solid early, but they'll just slow it right down mid-race and pick it up with 600 meters to go, like they do in most staying races. Also, I've landed here is with the fave, Gallinus. Jump outs were okay for this first up, but I was happy to take this horse on first up. Was coming out of some D-grade European form and D-grade tracks at Europe, and I found it absolutely interesting that Roll the Dice bought this horse, but I can see why after its run. At the 600-meter mark, this horse was looking to run a distance last, but finally found its feet and came home very nicely. What it told me that this horse takes a while to get to its top speed. So sit and sprint races, which we are now renowned for in our stayers, it won't suit. For this horse to be winning, they're going to need to take the lead here. And like they've done in European races, dictate the pace, pull the trigger when they're ready. D-Lane goes on. I really like that appointment because I think he knows what to do on leaders. If they want to take the sit here, I think it's going to be a shit watch. He's going to be under pressure when the race is on. It's going to take a while to get going, and it's just hard to win races doing that. He'll be shuffled back, and yeah, I think it's going to be a shit watch. Now, of the opposition here, it's very hard to find a danger for this race because there's three factors here. These horses might be busted up, and I think that's like Team Captain, Irish Butterfly, Long Arm, Mr. French. They've seen better days, and they need to be in the paddock retired. The second one, there's a few horses not up to benchmark 78 races. Down the bottom, we got two horses at benchmark at rating 63. They're not up to 78. Number three, they either went horrible last start. Mr. Blackwood put up the white flag with 400 meters to go, and I can't recommend it. No horse is screaming out they want to win except Gallinus. I think it's the only horse. It must lead. Maddie, can you talk? Oh, sorry. The only horse that might be the danger, Wertheimer, but his form was horrible before its win. So how do you recommend that horse to be going well after a long prep? But could be wrong, Maddie. Can you find a danger to Gallinus?
Yeah, look, well, it's interesting. The only one that I could steer anyone into is One Last Kiss, and a horse Glentonius. It actually ran second to it a few starts back. And Sam Freeman's got Galileus, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he does. Yeah. Yeah, he was comparing Galileus to Glentonius, just saying how they are very similar horses. You can completely understand that. I think One Last Kiss, a little bit disappointing last start at Geelong, but did get a long way back, ran on well over 2,400 metres. So I can see running out the 2,500 metres quite well. And it would probably need to sit a little bit closer, especially if you believe that your horse never get wound up a long way out. So, look, that's the only one that I can make a case for is One Last Kiss. But yeah, I can definitely see how you've landed with the favourite.
Yep. So if I'm having $100 here, this is a weird way to do this, but I think it's the safest way to do. So if we had $100, I'm having $25 on it now at $2.30. And then I'm saving my 75 for mid race. Now, if this ping hit the front and he gets left alone up front, we're having 75, and we're probably taking $1.80 mid race with Sportsbet, Neds, Ladbrokes, who are live players. You can go on Betfair as well. Sorry, but Betfair, we got to take the delay. People on track would be getting better prices because there'd be a good couple of second delay back at home. But yeah, jump on your Sportsbet, your Neds, your Ladbrokes. I think we take $1.80 if it finds the front nicely. And if it takes the sit, then we just happy with 25 on. So 25 on now, $2.30, 75 on live play if it finds the front and uncontested, and it'll be around $1.80, I reckon, come live play. Any last thoughts, Matty?
No, mate.
Short, sharp, beautiful. All right, Matty, you're going to preview race 8, Rosehill.
Mate, I'm going to jump up to Rosehill. It's probably a bit of an average race card up there, but a race I didn't mind. Yeah, look, with this one, there's probably only two horses that I really want to discuss in here, and there's probably no coincidence that they're both Chris Waller horse. Now, you'll notice pretty much from this week or the start of this week that Chris Waller has had a lot of horses come back. He doesn't necessarily run them early January, late December. He's been quite skinny in the fields. He's had a few up in Queensland, but realistically, this is when you'll start to notice his horses that he's setting for an autumn campaign, and also one eye on the spring. This is the time that he starts to step them out. So Worm, both of these are in the market. The first one is Step Aside. Now, Worm, this horse has got some decent form. Can completely understand how it's sitting at $293 at the moment. Now, its last start, Louvois, it went out at a really, really solid tempo and no one could run it down. You had Testalor Silence, who won last weekend. It ran second in that race and came home very strongly. And then on the inside, Step Aside, it was running home strongly too. That was over the 1,400 metres, stepping up to 1,500 metres now. So good progression, and I can see how this horse is favourite in the market. Can it win the race? Definitely can win the race. Barrier number 1, Tommy Berry on board. Got to take it under strong consideration. Well, the only other one that I want to discuss here is Built. Now, this horse has come back in sensational form, and it's been up to the 1,800, and it's actually on the way back down, which I don't mind. It's been racing over 1,500, 1,600, and back down to 1,500 here, which I think is an ideal distance. It's probably only got 2 or 3 more runs left in it before it goes out to the paddock. But I think here over 1,500 metres, J-Mac on board, it's going to get a really, really similar run to what it got last start when it positioned itself around about 5th and then got going on the turn. Took a little bit to get going, but once it got up to once it got the revs up, it was always going to be winning that race. So that's why I do have Built on top at around about that 450, 460 mark. I'm quite comfortable to be with it. I think it is definitely a winning chance within this race, and I think Step Aside is the big danger here. Worm, how did you see this one?
Just having a quick look. Definitely don't disagree with your thoughts. That's for sure. Do you give Crafty Eagle any chance? I know last start was in a fast run race. I think it was ridden upside down by leading. Second was Louisville. It's always been running on in, getting back and running on. Nash goes on
Yep.
board now, and I think that's a big key. I think just with a touch of a quieter ride, can it finish off and win?
Yeah, absolutely. And Nash is a big appointment here. Definitely the best jockey that it's had on board, I think, ever. Has it got the ability? Definitely has. It's been running in benchmark 78, so in this grade, and has been running okay. I do wonder what the training message is going to be to Nash from barrier number 6. I don't see too much pace on in this race, Worm, so I wonder if they're going to try and go for the lead again. But just they've got Nash, who knows how to ride a front riding horse. May set a bit of a settling tempo and could go on from there. So yeah, you could definitely make a case for it, but I think I'd probably prefer to be with those horses that have proven over this class, and then 2, probably shown a little bit more preparation this preparation than what Crafty Eagle has. So definitely got the ability, but I'm quite comfortable to be with Built, and you can probably have a saver on Step Aside.
Yeah, beautiful. Around the grounds, I've only got one, so get your pens and pencils because Matty's going to load his gun up and start shooting in a minute. So I'll be short and sweet here because we either run or we're going to be scratched. So that's Rosehill, race 1, number 16, Switzerland. Second emergency. No scratchings at the moment. I just really like these horses' trials. First start this Saturday. Look out of Coolmore. J-Mac goes on board. Great combo. Waller. Of the other runners, there's nothing of much talent, and I just feel this horse has some sort of talent off its trials, and it looks a nice horse. Currently $3.10, and yeah, by 7:45 Saturday morning, we'll know what we're doing. Matty.
Very nice, thank you, mate. Look, we'll kick off at Flemington. Had a little bit of a look at this card, and there's some nice races. I think there's some better races at Flemington than what there are up in Sydney this weekend. One that I have been waiting to back for a little while is Spicy Marks in race number 4. Around about that 650, you could probably even get $7 at the moment for this horse. I think dropping back down to the benchmark class here is the key. Third up will be absolutely ready to go, and I think he'll be able to jump well, set a decent tempo. So quite keen on Spicy Marks in race number 4. I think third up here is absolute key, while dropping back down to benchmark racing. Jump down to race number 7. Dehorned Unicorn, and when you did point out that this is also nommed for up in Brisbane, I'd be surprised if it doesn't run in Melbourne, but I'm taking the Sydney form here over the Melbourne form. You've obviously got to question the fact that it hasn't run down the straight, so that is a question mark, but I think it's going to have the tactical speed that it needs to run down the straight. And the favourite here, Ray Maggio, for mine, it's a bit of a step up. Obviously, winning form is good form. Can't knock the horse. But I'm quite comfortable to be here with Dehorned Unicorn around about that 5.50 mark at the moment. So, yeah, race number 7, Dehorned Unicorn on top. Well, and we're going to run up to Eagle Farm, a horse that I have followed quite often. And just while I'm doing this, can you just double check what race it is? It's 6 or 7, something around there. McTaffey. Now, I've followed this horse when I was in Sydney, moved up to Queensland, and it's been running okay. It won 2 starts back, came 5th last start, but again, quite solid. I think at $11 and around $3.50 a place, it maps exceptionally well here, which I think is its key. I think awesome price, around about that $3.50 to be running a place in this race. And I think it's going to be part of what I'll be building my multis around. So McTaffey, Eagle Farm, race number 5, Worm.
Yep, 100% right.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, Worm, you've done the listeners some great research in terms of the Blue Diamond. I might just go you one better here. Okay, you can go 5. You can go 5 weeks. I'm going to go about 10 months down the track. Okay, I'm getting ready for spring.
Yep.
Now, you know I love the Cox Plate. It is my favourite race. And there's one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on because I think this horse is a good chance to be running in a very good 2,000-metre race. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's aiming for something like a Cox Plate. Steps out this weekend, Rosehill, race number 10. Now, the reason I'm calling this horse out is, I like prowess. We backed it in the binary stud earlier on last year in 2023, where it absolutely walked it in. Came back here in the spring, should have been running a Cox Plate, one Cox Plate day, exceptionally well. Now, Infinitive is the horse, Worm. Around about 5th behind prowess in the binary stud. And from that day, I black booked it. Hasn't ran since. And Worm, I'm not necessarily going to be backing it this weekend. Interesting to see if it runs or not. Obviously, we know that the Chris Wallace stable, they don't necessarily like running them from the wide gate. So it'd be interesting to see whether this one does run. If it does, I'd be definitely include it in the aquatis because it is definitely a winning chance. I can see this horse winning an exceptionally good race over that 16 to 2,000 metre mark. So, Worm, one just to pop into the black books. I had a look at the market and it's not in there at this stage. But to be fair, not many horses are in the Cox Plate market. So it's around about now that we like to identify these potential horses that could be popping up during the spring, a little bit like how we identified prowess this time last year. So we'll keep doing it each and every week so the punters can pop these type of horses in the black book.
Yeah, definitely. If you're part of the community, I've already tipped the Sydney or Adelaide Derby winner, so I'm going to keep that up for the community. I've been very heavy on this horse, and yep. But Matty, if you find the Cox Plate winner now, this will be all time This would be hands down the greatest achievement of anyone's punting life, because that is outstanding. What odds do you reckon it should
Mate,
open up? Like, right, if you got odds right now, what are you taking?
it's certainly got to be over hundreds. I would take hundreds, but it should be probably 300s at the moment. It's first start back from almost 12 months off.
Yep. Again, if you can find a $100 to $300 winner 10 months out, all time, hands down. We're renaming the podcast Matty's Podcast. Yeah, it'd be all time, mate. And yep, I'm definitely not saying no, because what you're saying is a different angle to how I do it. And yeah, it's, mate, if this wins, this could be all time. So punters, let us
Well,
know your thoughts.
I only need to wait another 10 months. I only
Hey,
need to wait another 10 months, mate. But that is the benefit of the Black Book. Horses don't need to be winning to be popping them into the Black Book. As I said, this was running against Prowess. We back Prowess, so I couldn't have pushed it any stronger in the Vinery start. And we all won. We're all happy. But you go back, have a look at the replay, and you go, okay, cool. What were the runners that actually made progress from here? And for me, that was the one in that race that I didn't mind.
yeah, and it's had a nice break as well, which will be okay for the horse. Yeah, mate. It's we should do a weekly podcast about this horse and give it a tracker and try and get the owner on the podcast so we can get weekly updates.
Mate, I might be ringing Chris up myself to see if I can get a share.
This is good. This is good. One thing I noticed about
Let's see how
race.
it goes on Saturday.
Oh, that's it. That's why it's punting. It's thoughts. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Interesting note. You brought up race 7. One thing I want the punters to do, if you haven't seen it, go to race Jungle Jim's last win, jump on .com,
Yeah.
have a listen to the what would you call him? Stable representative about Jungle Jim and what he said about the jockey. It was an utter disgrace. Celine Gaudry won on it, and he still found a reason to whack her after the win. It was an utter disgrace, and this is why we shouldn't have stable reps on, because they just make stupid decisions. Yeah, go and let us know your thoughts. And I find it interesting, Celine Gaudry's not riding Jungle Jim this Saturday. Now, do we look anything into that? I don't know, but fuck me, what he said was just stupid and shouldn't be said after winning a race. Yeah, go on .com, have a watch. It was last Saturday, last race. Yeah, it's still up there on .com. What the stable representative said, I'm gobsmacked that anyone would bag a ride after winning. But there's tongue in cheek, and then there's a serious, and this boat was legit. Anyway, we'll move on before I get a life ban from the Mike Maroney stable. Multi-time. I'm only going to chuck one in this week. I'm going to throw in Ascot race 2, number 2, Final Siren at around $1.90. Matty, your thoughts?
We'll stay at Flemington this weekend. I don't mind the racing there. We'll go Spicy Mugs in race number 4. Should get a decent price for a place there. And also Horned Unicorn the place. I think both of those, be very surprised if either of them didn't run a place.
Beautiful. So Flemington race 4, number 3, Spicy Mug the place. Flemington race 7, number 4, D Horned Unicorn the place. And then Ascot race 2, number 2, the win. That'll come to $6.78 wherever you play your multis. Pineapple. Well, I thought at the start of Wednesday I was going to be pushing a lot of shit uphill to find one, because there's a lot of ranked races around. But definitely found one here. Flemington, race 5, number 4, Kin. First up, 5th, beaten 2 lengths by Ray Magnerio. Second up, rocketed home against Bolandino. And then last start, 3rd, beaten under a length where it sat 3 wide, no cover at the Valley. Second was Jungle Jim. We know what it did last week. And now it gets back to straight racing, where I think it's going to suit. Don't worry about it going wide or without cover. It's just straight racing, and I think it's going to suit. It can sit wherever it wants, and it will win. I know it's stats say 3 starts down the straight over the 1100 meters for a second place, but it's beaten 2 lengths, 1.7 and 0.2. So don't trust what the stats say. Look it up, and I think it handles straight very well. Confident this horse will be winning. More importantly, it's going to be winning for the listeners and watchers out there. Thoughts, Matty?
No, don't mind. I can definitely see how you've put on that, and look like a particularly deep race either.
Correct. Currently around $2.30. So happy to take that. And Jamie Carr on board for James Cummings. Any final thoughts, Matty?
Look, might be a little bit active on the community tomorrow night. There's a few at Canterbury. I just want to see the ones that are going to be running. As I said, it's a time of year that we take a bit of a notice, especially of Friday night racing as well, because if horses don't necessarily get the draw they want on a Saturday, you'll see them on a Friday night. So I just want to see what the scratchings are doing, and well, we might be a bit active on Friday night racing at Canterbury.
Ooh, I like that. Nothing better than Canterbury on a Friday night. Yeah. Yeah. Interact, guys. Please, if you let us know your thoughts on any social platform or wherever you watch or listen. If you are listening via any podcast, please jump on YouTube to make a comment, because I'm finding it hard to find people's comments on any podcast platform that you use. So please jump on YouTube and comment away. As always, Matty, thank you for joining us. Plenty of winners for the episode. We'll be back next week for a shitload of racing, because there's Friday racing at Caulfield. There'll be Saturday racing. So plenty to get through. Good luck Saturday, Matty. Go well, as always. And yeah, hopefully we find a few winners. Ciao.